if you go in a hospital for depression, you take antidepressants and they lead to other issues, then you end up with physical health issues. So they go hand in hand. So don't sit down there and say, not talking about this because you don't know what's going to happen in your life. You may end up with, certain other health issues. So it's good to start early and talk about it. Don't be worried about the stigma. There are so many people from African background who still take mental health as like people they're being possessed, which is not good. People go to churches and they say exorcism, all those things. It's all wrong.
Sorry, can I interrupt before you go further?
Yes,
it's still, my problem is people using the word mental health to mean mental unwellness. We all, yeah, so I want us to clarify, what are we actually talking about? Mental health is the general situation. We all have a mental health, like the same way everyone has a heart. So we all are living because our heart is pumping. So we all have mental capability. Where the problem lies and where someone requires help is where they're mentally unwell, unstable, where they need so it's not mental health that is the problem, but identifying what in the mental health requires attention. That is something that needs to be highlighted for the start of breaking the stigma. And that's what I'm trying to say.
There's also a component about it's the state we want to be in, the state of health. We all want to be healthy. So we want our minds to be as healthy as our bodies. We want to be in a state of health. So if I constantly keep calling it an illness, if I have low self-esteem, that's not an illness. I can't go to my doctor for that because it's not an illness. They don't call it an illness. We say mental health because it's a state of well-being. That's the state we want to be in.
So I suppose it's the same thing that she's...
Exactly, we're saying the same thing, but I guess kind of your frustrations with it is that we see mental health as the problem terminology, when really we're saying that that this is the state of wellness, this is the state that we want to be in. And now we have different terminology. We used to be, it used to be called lunatics and schizophrenics, and it used to be called all these derogatory terms when there's people at the end of that. So the consensus word that people came up at that time, not me, people came up at that time was mental health as because it's a state of wellness, so to move away from those derogatory terms. But what we're coming with today in this kind of new age is actually we need to be calling it something else. You're saying we need to be calling it something else, and not necessarily term it as an illness, or because when we say illness, you means you need medication, you need therapy, you need this, you need that, and sometimes it doesn't get to that. Most of the times there's so many people out there that are walking and going to work and doing everything they need to do to convince you that they're perfectly 100%, but deep down they are struggling so hard you wouldn't know. And we could all call ourselves that we're mentally healthy, and we're convincing ourselves we're mentally healthy, but really sometimes we need to be in a state of that betterness in what we want it to be. Barbara wants to say something. Sorry, she's the
psychological disorders or mental health problems. So when you tell someone you have psychological disorder, it sounds a bit more too much.
Yeah.
So you'd rather say mental health problems or mental issues, which is easier for the
mental health problem is good, but mental health is not good.
Also say mental health because it's kind of like trying to find
let me summarize this one. What we do, we are promoting mental health.
Yes,
that's the state of wellness.
That's what we are doing.
Being well in the mind.
So mental.
Let's look at the definition of health.
Yes.
Health is the state of.
And spiritually, there are so many dimensions to health.
Holistic.
Yeah, it's a holistic. Actually, mental health is one of them. Okay? So mental health actually is on the positive side. Then mental illness is on the negative side.
And I think stigmatization, again, like I indicated earlier, and that puts people down, just knowing that I have mental health. But did you know what?
Mental health problems.
Yeah, it's attached to stigmatization proper. Did you know what? That everybody of us or on earth has mental health. Have you ever been on the road and you're driving and you see this driver past you, or you're going for an interview, or you're going to do something, or you're late at work, and someone is driving like a snail in front of you, and you're like, oh my God, I want, or someone just cuts in front of you, and some people stop and start fighting on the road, some people bring the fingers out. That's proper mental health. So someone said to me, you know, every driver has mental health. I'm like, what do you mean? Then that person told me, that driver, it was one of my colleagues, it told me that story. It was one of my colleagues. So she's right, because mental health is a generic word. But going in details, definitely, is the treatment of the well-being. Well-being of the psyche. Actually, it's the psyche, treating the psyche, right? So it's all these terminologies don't really mean quite anything, but it's how the terminology stigmatizes us and makes us feel, which actually, that's one of the reasons people don't seek treatment. You know, I always tell my patients that mental health is anything, is any, I don't want to call it a disease because that's not right. It's an illness like any other, and it gets better. You know, people get admitted, they get treated, and they get discharged. You know, but someone will be like, oh, mental health, it's attached to stigmatization, and that's a killer. Stigma is a killer itself, and that's the barrier we need to break. And then creating awareness, like everybody was saying, it enlightens our understanding. So we know that actually, if I'm diagnosed with depression today, I seek support, I seek treatment, and I'll get better. So it's just a word, and we shouldn't take it at heart. It's just a word.
Thank you enough for coming, sparing your time, and come to be with us. And I hope we've learned something from this, or haven't we? Yes. And I would love this to happen often. And with your support, this will be very much, you know, it will be very much possible. Because today we are here for Butabika Mental Health Hospital Children's Ward fundraising, and as I told you, my interest first before I set up the BEK initiative was with children, and I do have children's projects in Uganda that run, like, you know, we have children that we support in school, we pay school fees for children that run away from home due to abuse, which is, you know, there is a link, as I told you earlier, there is a big link between mental health, childhood experiences and our mental health as we grow into adulthood. So we'll be going into our fundraising drive. Let's socialize, network, and get to know each other. Thank you again.
The definition itself needs to be changed. The general.
No. Mental health is the level of psychological well-being or absence of mental illness. Mental health means the absence. Right now.
To a certain degree.
We are saying you're healthy. When you're feeling in a form, you
when it's mental, then you can't say it.
No, if that's no, the level. Ivan. No. It has never taken long for me to be understood like it is right now, and it's frustrating her now. Mental health. No, it's not. No, it's not a debate. Mental health has no illness in it.
Mental health is the ultimate ideal position.
It is the ideal position.
So when you start to have problems,
mental health problem is what we're dealing with now, and it's important that our children that are listening today know what the problem is, instead of thinking that. But it hasn't been clarified, and I want that boy to know the difference between mental health and a mental health problem.
I agree, totally agree.
I
was just pointing out that the way you present your points is.
No, I want to be understood.
What you're doing. but yes, it's something that I've battled with as well. It's like you have to add the word problems or issues to it.
Yes.
Because when you say mental health,
that's
it's like a lot of people say I have mental health. When they mean I have mental health issues.
I have a mental health problem.
Let me explain this to you. The issue is mental health would mean proper awareness of your.
Yeah, I understand that. I agree.
So when we're talking about mental health, we are saying how do you maintain your wellness?
Chonchikaka,
That's the talk that we want.
I agree.
So what we do now, how do we prevent? I mean, so the conditions that affect your mental health.
When you're saying that there's a condition that has affected my health, call it a mental health problem.
That's what we say. So we say, how is your mental health? Then you say, I'm all right. And if you say, how is my mental health? Then you say, I've got a problem. Then we calm down.
Yes, I agree. I agree with all of those. I agree with all those things. My problem is, as health professionals addressing us people who don't know about mental health problems, clarify when I need help. I don't need help because of a mental health. I need help because I have a mental health problem.
Did you hear when I was
I did.
I said, look up for symptoms. If I know Gladys, listen to me. If I know Gladys, I know you very well. I live with you daily on a daily basis. So the day I spot something going wrong, maybe you're withdrawing, you're not eating, appetite has gone down, all of things. Then I say there's a problem. Then I'll come and talk to you, what's wrong? Okay. Then you tell me I'm not sleeping well because of this and this. Then I say, how long have you not sleeping for? You say 3-4 days. Then I say, you know what, there's a problem. Have you checked your mental health? Have you seen a psychiatric? Have you done ABCD? So that's when we come in and say, seek help. Get my point?
I completely get your point. We have never been on the same page. Help me to
These words that have now become kind of staple: depression and stress. Depression and stress. Those are words that are banning out very easy constant sustained stress.
I'm using aggressive because they like to make every time somebody's name, a family name, they don't know someone, oh, I don't really like it, oh, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean? They don't really know how to take
They're the ones who feel the actual.
So they're very fragile, very sensitive. Ugandan injectors, so I reckon we're like handling Ugandan to begin with, because I would like to go to the Nigerians and that. But we're starting off with the Ugandans. I reckon we have to really understand who we're dealing with.
I'm an adult who learned about mental health 3-4 years ago. Who has learned about mental health? Not mental problem, mental unwellness.
However, in actual medical terms, AIDS is definitely a different definition from HIV. However, what he's saying as a psychiatric, are you a psychiatrist?
Psychiatric nurse, yeah.
Right. What he's saying is that mental health is a general term.
No, that's what I'm saying as well.
But listen to what I'm saying.
It's the state of wellness.
That's what I'm saying. You can't come and you're not Theresa May and said this is it. We're going to change it from mental health to mental wellness.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. However, what I'm saying is we're going to use the same term as mental health because that's the general term used. However, then we elaborate and say all you people that are listening to us, we're just saying mental health because that's the actual term used. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm cuckoo. Does that make sense? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something something that you should be ashamed of, and something that this is why we have to be educated. I can't call it anything different, because that's exactly mental health is a problem. I've suffered from depression. Mental health care widens into different
illness is a problem. Mental health is not a problem. That's the definition of mental health.
I
What about definition?
Ill health. There's mental ill health.
Yes.
Mental health.
So I don't understand, because you're saying that's the definition of mental health, right?
Mental health.
But that's what we're talking about. Adjustment.
No, what I'm saying is mental health is not a problem. Mental illness is the problem.
Yeah, but he was saying mental health. So I don't quite get what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're not understanding it.
Yeah, I think so, because I think.
Do you understand what I mean?
He called it mental health.
But when you talk about it, it is actually mental ill health, like you're saying, mental well-being. But to begin with, the conversation.
The definition here says mental health is a level of physical well-being or absence of mental illness. So mental health, there is an absence of mental illness in the mental health. So if I say that I want to talk about mental health, I don't necessarily want to talk about a problem. Yeah, it's not negative.
You're right.
But it is in a way.
No, but
This is the
definition of
but
mental
they're
health.
saying behavioral adjustment. It is though. If you don't know how to deal with your mental statement, or you have to like control your emotions. But it can't. Yeah, it's a mental health. It's a mental health still.
It's a mental health. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what he was calling it, mental health. He didn't call
I
it
think
mental
we're saying.
health.
I think we're both saying the same thing.
I think
it's
we probably
just the
are.
understanding of it.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Because I
know what you're saying.
What you're talking about is right. But what I'm saying, what she's trying to say, which I also agree with, is that mental health is a broad general term we use to describe it, just like physical health. But we know that there's other things that physical health components are,
That's what
which
we
is
said.
physical
We have
illness.
to definitely do more research, be more educated about what we're saying, so make sure that we're putting out a good message, so people understand that it's not an illness. I've been, depressed at one point, or at so many points in my life, to the point that I have a meeting tomorrow and I'm not getting out of my house. Like, I'm being called on the phone. Where are you? I said, yeah, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. And I'm like literally. And I literally missed deals because I was depressed. Does that mean I'm ill? It doesn't mean I'm ill. It means that I am, at that point in my time, I'm just, do you see what I mean? At that time. Do you see what I mean?
I get what you're saying, because mental health is just a general term.
It's a general
It's
term.
the easiest way to describe something that has so many components. But there is mental ill health, or mental well-being that you're talking about.
Because you have to
umbrella,
understand, like,
and
when
then there's
you...
something that comes under it, which
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But mental health is a general
For
term.
me, I understand the both of you, where you're coming from. That's why I say we really need to be educated, because so many people are questioning this exactly
what you're
saying.
And
So
I
many
know
people
what
are
you're
saying
saying,
that,
because
you know.
I had the same
I
problem.
understand
See what I
you,
mean?
but so many people don't understand that. That's why I say so many people are not ready to come out, because the minute they come out, they
think you're crazy.
Yeah, they're going to say, oh, she's crazy.
You're mad. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's actually what drives you mad, because you're thinking, they're going to think I'm mad.
Yeah.
So therefore, let me remain silent. Therefore, let me suffer in silence. Do you see what I mean?
When people, like you said, when people say mental health, it's like,
Ooh, she's cuckoo.
oh my gosh.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not, it's just the general term. What's your physical health like? Do you know what I mean?
Term that is associated with stigma. If we want to break stigma in the black community,
Because to start the conversation,
We're not just gonna say, oh, mental health. We're gonna, literally go into details, explain into the depth of it. Hence why we're taking his details, so he can really try and educate us from the inner, from the core, from the primary, from the everything. So we're able to educate their wives, the audience and stuff like that, so they know that it isn't a problem. It's almost like gay people, oh, I'm gay, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. Do you know what I mean? They're scared to come out, because what do we say? I've got my own views. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm just saying, people that go through all those kind of things, they're scared to come out because they think. However, if they've got people to influence them or to encourage them or to talk to them about things like that, you might find that they might feel more comfortable
coming out. Do you see what I mean? And it's the same thing. If it's an issue or if it's a problem you're going through, it is better to talk about it. And whatever it is what it is. Like,
I think bottom line is education.
absolutely, absolutely. But I definitely know what you mean. Like, I didn't want to say I'm depressed. Like, how dare me say I'm depressed? Like, my family, what? Depressed? What? Do you know what I mean? But it was a thing, and until I found out exactly what it was.
Sorry. Even this woman who likes me, who is supposed to text me, the one who is supposed